9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Buzz, beautiful people. Happy Wednesday. It is your girl, the sweetest Oos, here for this Wednesday night edition of WWT Live as part of Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. And we have lots to get into today. But before we do, if you are new here, tell us where you are from, what city you're at, what country you're repping. Also, our super chats have been enabled as we speak right now. So continue to help and support and donate to the WWT panel as best as you can or much as you can, whether it's $2, $5, doesn't matter. And we can give you all the credit you deserve over here on the super chats. And we will highlight your comment and even start a discussion with it. Also, we are, you already know that we don't do this alone when we're here. But before I introduce my guest, make sure you support the Women's Wrestling Archive. We are expanding with this archive. Boss Lady has begun this archive in regards to preserving the history of women's wrestling and the legacy as we know of it today. So make sure you guys check that out. We will be playing a little commercial in regards to that a little later. But of course, let's get into it. Lots to unpack, lots to uncover. If some of you are just joining me, I'm going to give some people some time to come in because I know y'all were just with Courtney for our AEW Dynamite watch along as well for tonight with the timeless elite Stone Cold Courtney, and she is also here with me tonight. So fresh off the AEW watch along, here she is, Miss Stone Cold Courtney Rice, y'all.
Say it right now.
I wanna get it. I wanna make a man just wanna make him feel bad. This is what happens when you're gone on assignments. And this is what happens when you're good at your job. Somebody wants to take it and also tried to ban me on Friday and Wednesday last week, where I'm trying to help out with WWT. Shame, 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 shame.
Coming in hot, our timeless elite. How are you doing? And how was the watch along? We'll get into all the details of it, but did you enjoy it on a scale of 1 to 10?
It was actually really fun. I didn't get a chance to talk. I talked a little bit about this on Sunday, but I'll talk a little bit about 2300. It was just magical being there in person, being there for 3 nights straight, just being there with the atmosphere, a lot of history, everything else. But this was really good because they kicked off their second week. And also, this is the second week they sold out of AEW Dynamite. I don't care what you say. If it's sold out, it's sold out. I mean, does AEW have some stuff to work on? Yes. Do they need to work on their women's division? Yes. But you can't deny that they were sold out for 2 straight Dynamites in 2 weeks since they've been to Philly.
They are a work in progress. I will give you that. And progress is being made as long as they continue to put them butts in those seats. I will say that I did watch along with some of the festivities that transpired tonight on AEW's Dynamite, and just because I know I had to brush up on my information since I'm here with the timeless elite. And I got the keys to tonight, but since we're already talking about AEW, I do want to get into something that we didn't get to talk about with you last week because you were on pretty much on assignment for 2300. But let's just start here since the watch along is fresh in your mind. But I want to go into this with you, Courtney. We discussed the impact of this deal between All Elite Wrestling and HBO Max, and they have now come up with a deal pretty much where their PLEs or pay-per-views will be streaming and their events will be streaming on HBO Max as well exclusively. I got Boss Lady's thoughts, we got Ced's thoughts, we got Will's thoughts, we got my thoughts. I want to know your thoughts from the timeless elite herself. What do you think about this? This has got to be very, very exciting.
It is actually very exciting for someone that actually has HBO Max. This is a win for me, especially with the fact it makes watch along so much easy. And with the fact too, it does bring a lot of eyeballs to AEW, especially if you do have HBO Max. Obviously, we know they have Amazon Prime,
Right.
even though it's $50. But for this one in particular, if you have HBO Max, you only have to pay $40, like $39.99, which is actually not bad when you think about it. I get with WWE, they're on the ESPN app, they're leaving Peacock. I get with a lot of people are doing all these streaming services. Obviously, you have Monday Night Raw for Netflix, but when you really think about it, it does bring a lot of eyeballs to HBO Max. And also it can lead to some opportunity and crossover with some of the AEW stars. So for me, I do think it is a good opportunity for them to bring a lot of eyeballs. We did see one of the people that actually does have a show on HBO Max, Paul Walter Hausen, he actually competed at Ring of Honor last week. So actually does bring a lot of eyes. And he's also a wrestling fan too, if you did not know. And he actually put on a really good match. But I have to say, he put on a better performance than Pat McAfee did when he faced off against Gunther. And that says a lot.
Oh,
That
wow.
says a lot.
That is saying a lot.
That
is
says a lot
absolutely saying
because
a lot.
that really does, because he had the trunks on, he had everything. But anyways, it does set a lot of eyes in there. And also with the fact to just going into it, because I do have the press release that they just released. Not only they're going to do that at $39.99, but they can start with AEW All Out in Toronto, and it will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And also with the fact too, earlier that week, Wednesday, September 17th, TBS and HBO Max will be live from London, Ontario for a special 3-hour show, September to Remember, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So they are really putting a lot of eyes in, and it's a really great opportunity for them to really continue the real partnership with HBO Max. I'm really happy they're starting to embrace it and just continue with the future. Just continue, just keep thriving and just kind of staying in that lane.
Exactly. So even before we go forward into the recap even further, any thoughts or anything you'd like to say about while you were on assignment for 2300, anything you want to let us know, or the viewers and listeners know about your experience there, what it was like?
It was just so magical to be there. I will say tonight, well, actually earlier tonight, Taz actually got inducted into the Hardcore Hall of Fame. This happened earlier today. It was supposed to happen on Collision this past weekend, but by Taz's request, he wanted to have it happen before it aired on TV, which is very smart for him, because he's, as you can tell, he's a very emotional person. And even last week when Dynamite went off the air, he was very surprised with all the stars, Tony Khan, his family coming out, really honoring him. He took that by surprise and just bawled out into tears. And it was a really great moment, and also really showing that respect and just being in that arena. Like, the energy was there, the crowd went wild. Also being seeding into that. And also, I still have content I have to post up later in the week. But if you do watch Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor, you may see me in the front row, because I had some moments during the Ring of Honor men's title, and of obviously Athena versus Mina. But I know Will was telling me this a couple months ago, which luchador would take on El Grande. But I think Bandino may give him a run for his money, because when I sat in that media scrum, he is funny. He has a personality, and he just interacts so well, because even though he has a Spanish accent, he just speaks so well. And he's just really fun and just easy to root for. And even that match at Death Before Dishonor last week, he was just really fun. And also being at that media scrum for Ring of Honor, because even though it was small, I was very happy to be a part of that. And also, there's a few things I will say on WWT After Dark, because I think there's a lot of etiquette, especially in the so-called wrestling media world, there needs to be addressed. But I will talk about that on WWT After Dark.
Like you said, coming in hot, Courtney.
Yes, this is
glad you had a wonderful experience doing, doing the media scrum and enjoying the arena 2300. That was your first time there, yes?
Yeah, that was my first time attending, and it was so cool. And also,
a lot of history in that building. A lot of history in that building.
And also, I do want to throw into during that media scrum, and I'm going to post this later in the week. I did have the chance to ask Athena a question along with Mr. Bossman himself, Tony Khan, because he's very approachable. He's very approachable. He's very approachable. I mean, you could say a lot of things, but he's very approachable. I mean, look, he's had some head scratching moments, but he's very approachable. It just shows he is a fan of professional wrestling. He's been watching this for quite some time. So it'll be posted on later in the week, but I really did have a great experience representing WWT, being there in person, doing media. So I was very happy to be there. So
I must commend you and glad you definitely enjoyed your time. We look forward to more. And, we have a lot more going on later in the month, but we'll get into all that later. Let's just get right into the Dynamite recap, shall we, Courtney? We had a lot of things that were scheduled to transpire tonight. We had an all-star 8-man tag with Hangman, Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and Jet Speed, along with versus the it was AEW champion versus TNT champion, and then Kyle Fletcher, Josh Alexander with the Young Bucks. It was quite a wild match. It pretty much capped off the night into a bunch of other things as well. We also had Mercedes Moné defend her title against Alex Windsor, and we saw how that went down. Also, AEW World Tag Team Champions Brodito, and you were just speaking about, versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Oh, excuse me. And so out of all those matches, which one were you the most looking forward to seeing? And what would you rank tonight's Dynamite based on all the other events that transpired?
I do want to throw in, there was a bonus match that happened. Lance Archer versus Mark Briscoe was a bonus match that was added into this because Mark Briscoe wants Kyle Fletcher's TNT title. I will give it a 9 out of 10. It did what it needed to do, especially on the road to All Out in Toronto. Also with the fact too, I did enjoy Mercedes Moné and Alex Windsor's match. My other lady in command next to Toni Storm, Alex definitely showed, and I do think there is a lot of story to play. I really thought it was going to end in a draw or no disqualification because I feel like there is a lot more storytelling with those two. And also with the fact too, Mercedes is this close on breaking Jade's record. She's 7 weeks away from breaking her record. And we got to see the return of Rio, who we have not seen since last year. Because if you recall, last year, Mercedes and Rio had an interaction backstage. And unfortunately, Rio had to deal with injury. She had to deal with injuries and other personal stuff. But it's nice to see her back. And she will be competing against Mercedes Moné for the TBS title. But I do think there is a lot more story between Alex and Mercedes. Because if they really want to set up as Alex being the one to beat Mercedes for the TBS, then it's like they have to make her a little bit more stronger.
They would have to put her on the case.
Yeah, it's like pretty much the similar way that they did with Mercedes and Chris Statlander, but like kind of really figuring out what was missing. So this is something they're going to have to really shuffle for a bit. Also with the main event, we know Will Ospreay's out. We know Swerve is out. It's a possibility Kenny Omega is going to be out. So this is where a lot of guys really need to step up to the plate. I mean, the Don Callis family looks like they can be unbeatable. They really want to go after Hangman. Obviously, we know Hangman still has to deal with MJF, who still has a contract. Obviously, Mark Briscoe, he wants Kyle Fletcher, but he also wants MJF. That's also another thing too. And it's going to be very interesting what other guys, like obviously you have Brodito coming into play, Daniel Garcia, he's had issues with John Moxley. I don't know what's going on with the Ops and Hook. I mean, they got to figure out their issues because you got the Death Riders trying to make a mock of AEW. And it's like, yeah,
and not to mention you have one of the greatest tag teams of all time as well with Adam Copeland and Christian. So, and we saw how that went with them on FTR as well. I definitely would say a highlight of the night for me was definitely Rio's return. I was not expecting that. It was very great to see her back in action. And you know, she's been out about a year, I would say, right?
It's been a year.
Yeah, so it's been quite a while since she's been back in action, and it's a perfect start. You know, Rio basically came back, was like, I'm going for the big fish. Let's do it. And And
I mean, of course.
having FTR and Adam Copeland versus
Yes.
versus Adam Copeland and Christian was pretty fun too, because it's like it's kind of nostalgic, because we know that they're all really good friends and they're pretty much just having
Yes.
fun at this point. But the one thing I want to talk about, Miss Courtney, really quick, is what started the night.
Ooh.
Darby Allin and this spike skateboard. Like what like, is there anything that this man is just not fearful of, or just is there anything that this man can't do in regards to absolutely being, as they would say, you sick? I don't want to really finish that line, but you know what I mean? Is there any length that pretty much Darby won't go through to, and pretty much he basically wants Jon Moxley. He's seeing blood at this point. He's like a shark in the water smelling blood.
Yeah.
Do you think that skateboard is going to come into play? Because that's a very interesting weapon, and that's something I don't think I've ever personally seen before.
It's not the first time he showed up with thumbtacks on a skateboard. It's not the first time that's happened. And so Darby's one of those special cases where a lot of people go for him because he's used to the daredevil antics. He's used to this stuff. He doesn't care who he has to face. I mean, obviously we know he had issue with the Death Riders and what happened with Bryan Danielson, and he will stop at nothing. He wants Moxley. I mean, for Moxley, I think to say to him, he was never going to be world champion, but I think this is more than just being world champion. Darby just wants to destroy. So for him taking out Gabe Kidd, which that actually does help because he is also on my enemies list. If you watch my watch along, So, but Darby, he's one of those special cases where, I'm just going to go regardless. If I have to come in crutches, if I have to come in a walking boot, if I have to come in through a stretcher, I'm just going to come in regardless. And sooner or later, and I think this is something he talked about even like late last year before he was out, really getting everybody on the same page, because almost everybody has a score with the Death Riders. He has a score. The Ops have a score. Hook has a score. Willow has a score. Plus, we don't even know what's happening with Daniel Garcia and Jon Moxley. If you watch Collision this past weekend, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with Jon Moxley and Chris Statlander, because apparently they're having an interaction. So it's kind of like, I'm just waiting and seeing what happens. I don't want to make any predictions, but there's just some things that need to make sense. And where are we going with the Death Riders?
I would have to agree too. I feel like the Death Riders kind of got lost in the sauce again, because they have just too many people teamed up together. Everything is just, everybody's just a team and everybody's just a faction. It's just like, all right, what are we really doing here? If we're trying to create stars, this isn't the way to do it, especially if you're trying to do solo stars. But I understand why they did what they did for tonight as well. Even the moment with Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega teamed together for the first time since 2023, which is definitely a big deal. And then even being in the same ring with the Young Bucks, it definitely gave a very big nostalgic vibe to AEW tonight, and it was kind of perfect for it to be in the arena that it was in, because there is so much legacy and history in that building. So kudos to AEW for holding it down and selling out the 2300 arena, and for putting on a bang up shows for the last couple of weeks at Dynamite. I wish they would consistently do more of that, but less of all of the crowdedness in the ring. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be all of these people. I get it. There's ways to stretch it out and rotate the stories every other week. They could take note in certain cases like that. But tonight was something different, and it made me watch. I hadn't watched AEW in quite some time in full, like complete full. And I'm being totally honest when I say that. So catching up on all the action that they've done now and seeing where it's at, kudos. Kudos, thanks, TK. Kudos. I will give you that. Work in progress, as always. But
it's
moving on. Yes, moving on. Where Courtney and I are, I mean, some people are going to rib on me for this, but I wouldn't say I'm a Jersey girl. I'm a tri-state girl, but we are girls in Jersey. And of course, we have to shout out Jersey Championship Wrestling, because they have fabricated the Luna Vachon Invitational that's going to be taking place Sunday, October 26th at Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. I know exactly where that's at because I used to live right next to there. That's where I first moved to Jersey, which is crazy. And it will be streaming live as well, 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you guys don't miss that. With the Luna Vachon Invitational, it's going to host champions and standouts from basically across all promotions, like AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, NWA, Deadlock Pro, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and so many others, just to name a few. A lot of announced participants have pretty much included the names of Mara Sade, also formerly known as Dylan's favorite. Still, I'm sure it's still Dylan's favorite. We also have Lena Cross, Billy Starks, Jada Stone, and a lot more to come to be named. So this is actually going to be something I'm looking forward to. Will we have to make an appearance here, Courtney? I think we might have to take a little road trip to Ridgefield Park.
It looks really fun. And I will say, if you don't know who Luna Vachon is, like, you have to look her up. I had the chance to watch her Dark Side of the Ring episode, and even though it was very hard to watch, I was very happy. Yeah, I was very happy. Her son talked about it, and he's on Hell's Kitchen, by the way, because as a person that watches a lot of Food Network and all these food competition shows, and also loves food, by the way, it was really nice that her son talked about his mother. And also some of the things, obviously, of course, there were many things, but I'm very happy they are honoring Luna because she did play an important role. Even though it was in an era where it was mostly about Sable, we talked about this, a couple weeks ago. We cannot forget about the impact Luna made, especially wrestling-wise. And honestly, I think she was kind of ahead at that period because, of course, you had Jackie, you had Ivory there, but not that much on the wrestling side. It was more eye candy. And I'm very happy they are honoring Luna in the best way possible because she did leave an impact. And even to this day, a lot of people still talk about Luna Vachon and the impact that she made. And also, she also did raise another issue. And this actually reminded me of like Daphne's anniversary too on mental health in the wrestling space. And I feel like I'm happy it is being talked about a lot more. And I do think it is it needs to be a topic that needs to be talked about more because people always think of like the physical part, but they never think about the mentality, the mental part, the mental health, and how does this affect a wrestler? So I'm really happy it is coming into play. I'm happy they are honoring Luna in the best way possible. And it makes me happy to see like all these wrestlers, as you mentioned, from all the many different promotions are taking part and paying tribute to Luna.
Yeah, Luna Vachon was definitely one of a kind and definitely ahead of her time. She was definitely a trailblazer in her own right, in her own way as well. She kind of made her own lane for a more of the in a male dominated business. She broke through certain barriers that a lot of other women probably wouldn't have been able to overcome. And if they were in her shoes. She was definitely she was also the adopted daughter of wrestling legend Paul Butcher Vachon, pretty much part of a prominent wrestling family, and she had a 22-year career with a lot of major promotions, including of course WWE, Extreme Championship Wrestling, AWA, and WCW as well. And she pretty much emulated a lot of what her family did. They had that kind of mad dog mentality. She also began training at the age of 16 under her aunt and also the fabulous Moolah. So she had been in the game for quite some time and was definitely ahead of her time. I feel like a woman of the stature of Luna Vachon, we know that she had a lot of personal issues and mental health issues as well. That of course back then they weren't really made to be aware of. We're in a different kind of era now. I feel like if only there had been someone who'd been able to at least just reach out in some kind of a way to guide her, to help her put forth her right direction in the mental health space. But unfortunately in those days it just wasn't as effective, or excuse me, wasn't as talked about as much, but leading into pretty much the in-ring work, I think it's very important to tribute someone like Luna, because she did make an impact in the business in ways that a lot of other women did in the game. She definitely paved the way for a lot of the aggressive women. We definitely see the viciousness, that, like I said, mad dog mentality. But if you guys are in the Jersey area, definitely check this out. Again, it's Jersey Championship Wrestling. The event is called Possession, and they will be having the Luna Vachon Invitational October 26th in Ridgefield Park. It will also be streaming live as well. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And shout outs to the legend Luna Vachon. Also, really quickly, of course, staying in the realm of Jersey, Deanna Purrazzo and Steve Macklin announced their new podcast, Boots to Boots, excuse me. What do you think of this news, Courtney? And what do you think this new podcast will be about for Miss Purrazzo?
I'm actually very excited because I know, because this is probably when I was in here, because you guys were talking about Deanna Purrazzo not getting enough TV time or airtime. I'm happy she's venturing out into other things outside of wrestling. Obviously, we did see her return. I saw her return last Friday at Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor, where she faced off against Queen Aminata. But I'm happy she's venturing off into other things, especially working alongside her husband, who's the reigning TNA International Champion. So it's really nice that they do have a project that they could do together. And also very curious on where this is going to go, because I actually read a little bit about this, because of course, obviously, they're going to be talking about not just in the ring, but also Steve Macklin, if I can get this right. Yep. Pretty much it's about their life's transition from combat boots to wrestling boots and everything in between. And definitely it's going to be a theme of the podcast on the personal journey of Macklin, who is also a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. So his transition from military to a career in professional wrestling, that's going to be an interesting transition, and also something I did not even know. And that's a really cool fact about Macklin. So for me, I'm very happy that they are doing this together. And Steve is really opening up about his journey when he started in the military and some of the lessons that he learned, not just from the military, but also leading into wrestling.
You love to see it. I really enjoy the superstars now, especially even ones that you didn't think would start a podcast, hence Undertaker. Did you ever think in 1990 that Undertaker would come out with a podcast and, just get along the way he's been getting along lately? No, not at all. But in this idea of a sense for Deanna Purrazzo and Steve Macklin, I think that this is awesome. This is a great platform. This is something, doing this kind of stuff is fun to do. And of course, with, them doing what they love with who they love just makes it even better, I'm sure. And we salute you, Mr. Mack.
Yes,
thank
we
you very
do.
much for your service. So we'll be looking forward to that podcast as well. Boots to Boots, check it out. Deanna Purrazzo and her husband Steve Macklin, new podcast coming soon. And let's get into some more quick news. Illegal streaming site Stream East, popular with a lot of wrestling fans, has been shut down. Any thoughts on what this may impact as far as the wrestling fans? And how are we feeling about it, Courtney?
This was an interesting story, because when I read this, I was like, we kind of need to talk about this on WWT, especially streaming, because of course fans, well, sometimes things happen. They can't afford the regular price, so they go to these types of sites to stream on pay-per-views. Does not matter if it's AEW or WWE or Ring of Honor or even TNA. But the interesting part was how it got shut down, which was very interesting to read about it. But I think at this point, since we're kind of in streaming and we kind of know the specific prices, I mean, obviously we know what WWE, they're on ESPN, AEW, obviously they're on HBO Max, but all their pay-per-views on Amazon Prime. So it's really starting to add up a bit. And then of course you have Netflix too, because they have Monday Night Raw, TNA Plus, with all TNA, and then you have Ring of Honor with their Honor Club with the paywall. So it's a lot, because when you add it up, it tends to be a little bit of a lot. So yes, unfortunately, with the illegal streaming, I think it would be interesting to do a watch party. Do a watch party with your friends. Maybe propose a bar to watch, get professional wrestling on paper, because that can work. That can work too. That can actually work. But I mean, there's other ways to do it. But and Boza, thank you for letting me know, because he is whining and.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can only assume that this was not going to go over well with fans. It was reported earlier this morning, just for a few more details about exactly what happened with Stream East. It is the world's largest illegal sports streaming platform, and it has been shut down after a year-long investigation leading to a U.S.-based anti-piracy organization. The network of 80 unauthorized domains generated 1.6 billion combined visits over the past year, providing free access to global sports fixtures, such as Premier League and Champions League, as well as the NFL, NBA, and MLB, including Europe's top football games and competitions. So, it has pretty much... I guess it's reached its limit. Like I said, not a lot of people are going to be happy about this, but I do think that this is kind of interesting timing in regards to this, especially with the whole deal with ESPN and stuff like that. Yes. I'm not trying to make any assumptions, but I'm just saying there's just a lot of chess moves that look like that are pretty much being made. If you really pay attention. But like I said, allegedly. I don't want to make any assumptions.
It does not shock me at all, to be honest with you, because like I said, get your friends in there, get everything else, and just do everything that you can.
I don't know who said his name, but someone just appeared.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it.
Said.
Our mayor is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, and he has joined us for this evening edition of WWT Live. How are you, Ced? Speak to us, sir. What are you thinking?
Number one, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to interrupt the show too much. Happy CEO Wednesdays to all who celebrate and acknowledge. There are criminal acts running amok on WWT right now, and wherever our fearless leader is, Barbados, Canada, I don't know. But the Stone Cold one over here, to my knowledge, was suspended and added to our alumni section. That was per code. That was per WWT code, chapter 100.05.02. This is now CEO Wednesdays, and that's how it will remain.
I don't know. Nobody even said your name either, man. Like, what's going on here?
First off,
the people alert me. People alert me to this.
Planned out.
First off,
I get special alerts when there's order to be restored.
First off, nobody's coming in to take my show. Number one. And obviously, number two, TK was the one that asked me to do watch-alongs for AEW. And how come you didn't do a watch-along last week while I was on assignment for 3 nights? That's number two.
It's in the mayor's agreement that the mayor does not do watch-alongs. That is, it was
written. Maybe I need to talk to TK. Maybe I need to talk to TK, because maybe me and Christina could do Monday Night Raw. I'm just saying.
I
will leave that up to the people.
I'm just sitting here eating popcorn.
Well, I mean, this is how I feel, courtesy of one of my other guys, Max Caster.
Now I'm on air, bitch. Blonde hair, bitch. Beat you so bad. Get a massage chair, bitch. Ugly ass bitch. You look like a bitch. Shout to the crew. Leave them shook like a bitch.
That's more better than I did.
Oh God. Said, any thoughts? I need to pretty much tap the horse's reins for a second and just gain control real quick of the ship. But any thoughts on the Stream East situation with the shutdown today?
You know what? Whenever my guy Phil Lewis reports something, very established journalist nationwide, that's how you know that there's legitimacy to it. So I don't know if there's a troll account on Twitter or anything like that, but there's a Stream East account saying that they're not dead or that they haven't been shut down. But there's, how do I say this properly without giving away my secrets? There will always be another way to watch your favorite sporting events in wrestling. Stream East was a very valuable site to all sports lovers, people that watch wrestling, people that watch NASCAR, golf, whatever, football. You can watch anything there. But it could be a turning of the tide for all types of piracy. We've seen this before. This is how music began to get monetized. If you think about times of like Napster and LimeWire and all those different sites you download music off of, now we have streaming sites. There's a stream for almost everything to watch television, as far as like Netflix. Now we have wrestling and football on almost every major platform. As that continues to grow until we get back to the stone age of using cable again, there's going to be other ways. I mean, one domino fell, not the entire game. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, thank you for your thoughts on that, Mayor. Let's get into some interesting news here. We have some news on the prosecutors who have filed a motion in response to Liv Morgan's stalker. They have pretty much bid him a danger to the community. If you guys are unfamiliar with the story, pretty much this is something ahead of the November trial that is scheduled for Liv Morgan against a gentleman. Well, I wouldn't call him a gentleman, a man by the name of Sean Chan, who was charged with 1 count of interstate domestic violence against Liv Morgan. He had tried to show up at the performance center. He also left a note. His behavior was just very, very disturbing, but the prosecutors have pretty much filed a motion for him, to dub him a danger in the community. I just want to get what your thoughts are in regards to this situation, and what do you think will happen moving forward? Courtney, I'll start with you.
We were going to talk about this on Sunday, about Clash in Paris and what happens with Rhea. This did not shock me at all, because first off, this is something that we're gonna be talking about this for a while. And also with the fact too, if you saw what happened with Liv Morgan, it was very scary. But also with the fact too, this is something that they need to address, especially on WWE and TKO, and especially after what happened in France. And they added more security. I think this is something they need to really take more seriously, because we have seen reports left and right of wrestlers dealing with harassment. We did see Roxanne and Dominic trying to get death threats from an account that was imposing as them. So at least this is something that they really need to look at very seriously. And also this is something that's not going to be ending, and something that needs to continue being addressed.
Said, your thoughts on the situation in regards to the Liv Morgan stalker, Sean Chan?
I mean, I hope he gets prosecuted to the highest level of degree, because it's a very serious thing.
Absolutely.
And I mean, and it sounds harsh that somebody has to be made an example out of so people can kind of fall in line. And that's kind of what should happen here. We're seeing fans get too comfortable with like the privacy of people, and not just the privacy, but like just the personal space. We saw it in France where people were like crowding Rhea and Sheamus, and like that has to be uncomfortable when you're just trying to navigate life outside of the ring as well. So especially for the women superstars who I did see that they started beefing up security for some of these international events. I hope that we start seeing less and less stories of this. I mean, the internet's pretty cruel. I mean, there are people that play catfish games out there and stuff like that. So people can get conned into these type of things, but people just need to use their common sense. If you're working for the global entity that's WWE, there's nothing that's going to be set up where people that are getting paid this much money are going to be interacting that directly without that WWE like go between. So I mean, I hope that they make an example out of this person so it doesn't happen again, and it has to be a pretty hefty price to pay so people realize that this isn't a joke.
Yeah. In regards to things like this, like that, we've spoken about this time after time again, and the fact that it's come to this point to even where Rhea gets things from fans at her doorstep or people coming to her doorstep. Liv Morgan with this guy coming to her doorstep, and things like that, and there's just some people out there that kind of don't also have that common sense where they just have no sense of awareness and reality. They live in this fantasy world where, if Liv Morgan likes their comment or if Saraya, goes in for a picture, they try to take a mile with it. Even CM Punk. Now, it's not just the men, it's not just the women, it's the men too. We've discussed this extensively. CM Punk just went through it recently when a woman in the crowd just kept trying to kiss on him and hug on him and things like that. It's just like, there's personal space and there's boundaries that just don't need to be crossed. And also another thing, the fact that WWE beefed up security only after the fact that one of their biggest stars, first of all, this is mommy, this is Rhea Ripley, this is Rhea Bloody Ripley. She is one of your highest grossing women's superstars up today. And there's no reason why she should be walking out there without security in the first place and going into an Uber. I'm not sure why WWE hasn't really addressed any of these things, and they're probably not going to in this regard. Instead, they're just going to lead it with a call to action and beef up security. But at the end of the day, if you ask me, I personally feel like security should have been beefed up a long time ago when going to these events, or even just a personal security nearby and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just not cool. It just really is not cool, and it's just not decent human behavior to act this way. These superstars go out there and they literally put their lives on the line, going internationally to these shows and interacting with these fans. And it's not just the of course the international fans. It's in the US. It's anywhere you go in the world. There's always going to be some kind of person or person that's going to want to take the extra mile when they allow just a couple of steps in. Once they show a few steps of vulnerability, people feel like they can just chime in on that, and it's just not right. You know what I mean? People have their own personal space, and superstars are human beings, so we need to make sure that we remember that when interacting with them. How would you feel having 1,000 people trying to ask you for a picture when you need an event and you're getting in an Uber? You got somewhere to be. You got money to make. You ain't got time for it. Wait till the event. There's time. There's a time and place for everything. But enough of that. But on a lighter note,
I want to talk about this. Don't move.
Oh, okay. I was gonna give you a nice intro and everything. All right.
You took too long. Y'all
Go
took
ahead.
I'm trying to talk more shit.
I'm so sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. Well, Councilman has just joined us, ladies and gentlemen.
The councilman is also here to levy the prosecution against Courtney Rice for absence and me officially taking over CEO Wednesdays.
Bullshit.
This is our legal counsel, by the way,
That is
here at WWT.
I am a judge also in other places as well. I have not brought it over here to WWT, but my judgeship can also dock here in WWT fields. And we will have order. You see the gavel?
What is this order?
The gavel.
Order. We seen the comments, Courtney Rice.
I have no idea what's happening.
Don't have me put you in contempt. Honey, you too.
Get that for what?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to run a show here, y'all.
I will have order in this court.
Shoe program.
Councilman, speak your piece.
Well, one thing to say about what you had said about why they don't have security is a issue that's even a little bit bigger. And I think too, like now TKO may be able to fix that. Why are they still paying for their own travels and traveling for themselves?
That too.
Yep.
So that's another thing. If you're a worldwide superstar, why isn't someone booking these people flights? Why aren't people picking them up and bringing them to these things. I'm not saying everybody got to have an individual car, but it's like, hey, your flight's booked here. Meet us here. We'll have you on the bus to take you here. If there's somebody that's a little bit bigger than you that kind of get that treatment, even like how y'all put in storylines, let that happen. But it's like those are also like there's a bigger picture at play of when y'all are not considering these people as stars or athletes, because you do that for NBA players, you do that for NFL players, but you treat these people like athletes, and that's what you need to start treating them as. And hopefully under TKO, they'll start doing that. And the issue we have with these stalkers is, like you said, there's no ramifications. So it's like, yo, make a stalker registry like you have as a sex offender, where you have to say, yo, I live in your neighborhood and I am a stalker. Put something on them where they cannot take that off, that states like, hey, I've been convicted of this, or I've been arrested for this. So now you can get the scrutiny of putting somebody's life and making it uncomfortable. Now you get to experience that. You get to experience what it's like to have people look at you and judge you crazy and feel like someone's after you trying to go home, like you did Liv Morgan, like you did Rhea Ripley. It's like, yo, that's what you want to be. Now you got to stand on it. It could be, again, it could be a pin, it could be a red band that you're not allowed to take off. Something like a lot of do ankle monitors. Like, yo, you're going to be wearing this band. People are going to know who you are. You will not be able to get into live events because you have this band on. You will be shown that, like, yo, if you want to go and make other people's lives unbearably uncomfortable, you want to threaten their livelihood, you want to threaten their actual lives, now let's see how you feel when people are looking at you and want to fuck you up, because now they know what you do for a living. Because if jail ain't going to get it, then it's like, cool, let's see how you feel about it when you're in regular life and you're in Whole Foods and everybody looking at you crazy like, nah, we don't want you here. We don't want that person there. Imagine being kicked out your apartment because your neighborhood don't want you there. So now you know how this person you've been stalking and sending death threats, now you know how it feels.
Very, very, very disturbing. But as Mayor did say, we hope that he gets prosecuted to the nth degree in this case, because no superstar should have to go through something like this. And people who do this, there deserves to be repercussions that they have to go through for doing things like this. There's just no way that they can continue to let this happen. Yeah. So going forward, we shall see what happens with that. But we do wish Liv Morgan well. She's also still recovering as well. Still no word on when she'll be back with us as well. But we wait anticipatingly for her return, very eagerly, I would say. But
like you said, honey, on a lighter note,
yes,
we having the WWT draft, and it sounds like Courtney needs to be switched to Mondays, is what I've been heard in the request forms out here, and that Wednesdays need to turn into CEO Wednesdays, and it's Stone Cold, and it's Monday night. Courtney, is this what I've been hearing?
I think the mayor is still good for Monday night, but Wednesday main event is available.
Bullshit.
I'm so done.
No one's coming after my show.
This is a form of tyranny and a mutiny like I've never seen before.
It's not mutiny. He's putting a request. What he's the evidence that was stated, that was presented to me, was that the people.
It's the terminology.
The people.
Now, I've checked the records, and the people have been asking for CEO Wednesday. We can't ignore the WWT universe. So that's already a stated fact.
I'm just the vessel.
The mayor has stated he has no problem taking over CEO Wednesday. So it's not that we're pushing. It's just Courtney. I would like
supply and demand. People want to talk about the CEO.
Courtney looks like you might need a really good defense attorney in this case, because I'm not sure what to do about this.
You know what?
I'm just here to host.
This is how my reaction is. This is
people
how
versus
it's
Courtney Rice.
Hold on, let me get my.
Eat shit, bitch.
Hey! Whoa! This is a family set. We will have order here in WWT. Okay.
Oh God.
a family establishment, and we will not allow this language till after 8:30. Okay.
Kids aren't asleep yet.
Courtney didn't
Kids ain't
change.
asleep
They
yet.
are over here.
Well, Courtney didn't went
Over
to
here, just
Philadelphia
so you guys know.
and just changed. She got her hair blowing in the wind now. She must have went to a Beyonce concert. Courtney has changed. Okay. She been hanging out with Tony Storm too much now. I'm asking for the evidence. I'm just asking.
What else do you expect from the timeless elite?
I listen. I wouldn't expect nothing less, but this is a court, and the facts have to be admitted. Honey, you get put in contempt too. Don't make me get the bailiff. Go pat you.
Oh my god.
Pat you, my bailiff. And
your bailiff is asleep.
He wants to type. Well, listen, he gets a mandatory break, okay, because he works hard being the bailiff.
Oh God, I gotta keep this show going, guys, and we still have to get through this. So since Mr. NXT is graced us with his presence, let's get into NXT. I did actually just catch up on it earlier today. It was quite eventful to say the least. We had just the start of it. We had Jada Parker versus Lash Legend, which was a pretty good start, if you ask me. I love when they start off with the women's matches as well. And this was also a very, I was anticipating this match a lot. I kind of want to see more from these two. I'm sure it's not over yet, but it was a great match. And we also got to see some other things. We also got to see the Poison Pixie, Courtney Rice's Poison Pixie. Candice LeRae, Mrs. Wrestling, has returned to the NXT roster, and she is coming for gold, y'all. Gold that she has yet to win in her career. So it was really good to see her back. And of course, she wasn't the only one. She didn't come alone. She also brought in DIY with her as well. And they confronted Trick Williams, who's getting a little, cocky and saying, self-proclaiming that he is the greatest NXT champion of all time, or the fourth NXT wrestler of all, superstar of all time. And of course, the DIY legends did not take a liking to that. We also got to see Jordynne Grace and the Evolve Women's Champion. I don't want to say it wrong, but it's Callie, right? Or Callie? I don't know.
Callie Armstrong?
Callie Armstrong, yes. So Callie Armstrong, the Evolve Women's Champion, versus Jordynne Grace, which was something I kind of didn't know I needed. Once I saw their segment in the backstage, I was just like, okay, I feel like now we're cooking with a little more gas than we were before for Jordynne Grace. But they did have a really, really good one-on-one match. Jordynne Grace did come out on top, but of course, not without an interruption from Ms. Blake Monroe, the glamour of NXT. And this was the lasting image of the glamour. The glamour has now bled on NXT soil, and she did not look very happy or pleased with that situation. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned in this case, because she was trembling. Also, we had a tag match go on, fatal four-way tag match. We had Dark State versus Hanky Tank, Oba, and of course Ricky Stark. Then with the appearance of the man we all believe in, Joe Hendry, with a little bit of help for his friends. And then it ended up pretty much with Ricky Stark and Oba Femi brawling it out in the back. Nobody was able to gain control of that, therefore leaving off a little cliffhanger at NXT. I want to get y'all's thoughts on the events of tonight, and what was your favorite thing, or not tonight, from Tuesday night, and what was your favorite thing? Mr. NXT, let's start with you.
My favorite thing is seeing that Jordynne Grace needs to go ahead and move up. Is what I saw. If anything on Tuesday night, it's time for you to go. I don't think the NXT championship is in your grasp no more. If you facing Callie Armstrong and you got to beat Callie Armstrong, it may be about that time for you to go to SmackDown, which would not be bad.
No, I don't think
I think the takeaway for me that I like that more people outside of the bigger like names that we've been displaying on NXT are getting shine. But something that me and the mayor talk about, we did good for 7 months. 7 months we were on fire. And now it kind of seems like that fire is dimming out a little bit. And I really don't like that, especially with now that we got Lola Vice as the number one contender for the women's championship. And it's like, yo, why are we not still keeping it the way we need it to be? And it's like, then too, you're bringing back people like we don't necessarily need. I was glad Candice LeRae came back. I feel like Candice LeRae could have like a good NXT run for like a couple of months and then get that shine back to go to the main roster. Now, why DIY is there messing with Trick Williams, I have no idea. Why they're doing the Joe Hendry pop-up randomly in a tag match, I have no idea. So there's just some of this where it's just like, and you have not convinced me that Ricky Saints is going to do anything to open whatsoever. I'm like, whatsoever. I'm like, this does not look like this is the guy to do it. Even though I said maybe he could. I was like, after I saw Tuesday, I was like,
yeah, not necessarily.
Over, your ass is over. Oh, yeah, next.
Yeah, we also did see the young OG as well. Not necessarily happy with the way Josh Briggs dropped him, but I was very happy the way with Josh Briggs dropped Chase. Mr. Chase.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I was really down for that. No offense to Mr. Chase. But Courtney, what was your favorite thing about NXT from last night?
I mean, outside of seeing Candice LeRae back on TV, I'm very happy to see her back. What?
Because you know I always gotta ask, did you actually watch it?
Yes, I watched NXT.
So proud of you. I'm so proud.
She watched it today. Yes,
I watched it today.
We got on here too, so I can vouch for
I watched it. I mean, outside of seeing my poison little Pixie in action back on TV, I mean, Ricky, I don't even know what they're going to do with Ricky, to be honest. I don't know what they're going to do. I would love for him to be champion, but it's like, it's too soon. You made it too quick because it's like you had him with Joshua Troy, then you have him with Oba, and it's like, I don't even know. And then next week, Ethan Page is going to put him and Tavion Heights are going to have a flag match next week. So I don't know where this is going to go. I'm happy to see the women's tag team and NXT have a match next week. I'm very happy to see them at least get some spotlight in that tag team title division. But I think it was a good, solid episode. I mean, nice to see Josh Briggs in action. I think Josh Briggs and Javon Evans is going to be a good, solid match for them. Hopefully we get to see another side of Javon Evans. I know he's very happy, but it would be nice to see a little bit more aggressive. But overall, it was a solid, good match. It's just what's next for Ricky? That's all I have to say. What's next?
My highlight was Blake Monroe and Ariana Grace. That was
she's beauty, she's Grace, but she will kick your ass, Blake Monroe.
It was great to see her on TV. It was great to see her back on it.
And two women with good taste too, as well. Said, what was your favorite thing of the night for NXT?
First and foremost, Sindel, I'm reading these comments and you've been warned. That's strike one. Don't use my client's name in vain. Similar to Courtney, I will boot your ass out this chat.
Really?
I don't make the rules, but I make the rules. I'm just saying. My favorite part of the show, thank you for teeing it up. I obviously, because we're going down memory lane with Lola Vice, you got to see why she is the way she is. A nice video package explaining who the character is behind the best back fist in the WWE. What I love is we talked about the family, we talked about the sister, we had cameos from the mom, and now you're going to see a little bit about Master Laredo, who's been training her since she was like 3 years old. You'll get to see why she grew up a fighter, why she went to Bellator and all the martial arts tournaments to really build her character before No Mercy. Also, the DIY thing was cool. I mean, it's their 10-year anniversary of their debut in NXT, so I think that's why they did it. But kind of mixing it up with Trick, don't know why, unless it's going to be like this murderer's row of like past NXT superstars. They did mention that you can be glorious or undisputed, which we know guys, some of these guys ain't there no more, but maybe Finn takes a step down. Maybe Shinsuke takes a step down. And Trick has to see all these past greats to really realize his greatness. Because, I mean, you move Trick to TNA because there was nothing left to do in NXT, and because you're not going to make him a 3-time champion. So we're still at this like sticking point, I guess, until January, till he has like a Rumble appearance and gets a call up. It's just weird what's going on with him. What I do love in the men's division, what do you want to call it? Like the quirkiness of this Joe Hendry shit. It's like the early days of Joe Hendry. He's Captain Planet right now. You just say Joe Hendry, he just there. I love that. Let's get back to why it caught fire.
Do we know? I hope you guys understand why that's happening. That's because when we talked about him a while back on Kayfabe podcast, I had said that he would be a perfect candidate to become president, and that his executive order should be to appear wherever someone says his name and whenever. And that's exactly what's happening. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see manifestation come to life on that end.
They're just doing better production, man. Like if my man could be in like a Regal stretch and just yell out Joe Hendry for no apparent reason, really.
Yeah,
just show up on the ring. That's great.
The refrigerator had me alone from that first moment. I was just like, oh, here we go. This is what I'm talking about. I love to see it. But I also want to get y'all thoughts on something else in regards to NXT. Trick Williams towards the end of the night was leaving the building, and he did say the camera people asked him, the interview asked him, what are you gonna do about DIY and such? He did respond and say, do you guys think you're the only ones who have history? I'll see you next week. Could Trick Williams be hinting at something? Is there a phone a friend that he could definitely make a call to? What do you guys think about those comments from Trick Williams before he left? Councilman.
I get it. I do. I get it. And if it does, bring in a former NXT tag team, then I'm here for it. Because, maybe Trick go get the Street Profits and gets a little backup, especially with what's been going on now. But
running it back with Street Profits and DIY would be pretty crazy. But go ahead.
It would be. But here's my thing too with that. Trick Williams is not NXT champion.
No, he's not.
He's TNA champion.
Yes, he is.
So it's like all of this stuff. Why isn't this doing it with Oba? Like you went and took to the TNA champion. If you're claiming like to have these people coming down, aren't you supposed to be going after Oba? Like if Trick Williams is Trick NA, let this happen at Trick NA. That's the shit that's really confusing me about all of NXT right now. It's like, okay, y'all got a whole bunch of stuff going on, but it's like, what are y'all doing? Like, where is the real legitimate structure right now? Like, we're just throwing people to championships. There is like the only, like, if you think about it, what are the three main storylines at NXT right now?
Blake and Jordan.
Javon Evans. No.
You can probably say the Team Canada stuff with
Ethan
Chelsea
Page and Chelsea.
And then maybe the third biggest one. I can't say Oba and Ricky just yet. So
is it Dark State?
I don't know if Lola and JC qualify, but I feel like Fatal Attraction has to be a part of that because she was just a double champ somehow. Like their implosion, I would say.
What are the three main storylines on TNA?
I couldn't tell you.
Interesting point you made, Councilman.
So again, like, where are we with all of this? Where is our division? And then it's like now you're adding more belts. So it's like, oh, the Speed Championships are coming. Y'all aren't doing nothing with the North American Championship, at least in the women's division.
Right.
You just now gave the North American Championship an uplift with the whole Canada run. Again, championships you're not utilizing, yet you're trying to bring more in. You have Kylie Armstrong as the Evolve champion coming in, and it's like that's a good look for these up and comers. But it's like, what is TNA NXT doing? Like, if Trick Williams is your champion, go be on TNA. Go rough shot TNA. Go fight some of their legends. If you're having folks like one of the greatest NXT champions, which is Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, shouldn't they be trying to take out the ruler?
Technically, yes.
Isn't that who, if you're like, and that's the thing I'm thinking, I'm like, this is where we're getting things very confused, and I blame the Undertaker because this is your fault. And I'm gonna say it's because he think all black people look alike, and he don't be remembering who he talking to. Because you keep talking about the big dog. There's only one big dog, and that is my client. Trick Williams is not the big dog. Javon Evans is not none of that. You need to shake one person's hand and give them the nod, Undertaker, and that was my client, the leader of the Big Back Coalition. Now you got everybody confused. Everybody thinking they like, oh, I'm Mr. NXT. No, you. Who holds the belt? And we don't even have like Obafemi and them closing out the show. So I'm just scratching my head at like, yo, what we doing?
I got an interesting question. This could be an interesting like debate topic too. But I think what Trick is trying to set up is like where he fits in like NXT lore from like the original with Seth Rollins, Big E, Black and Gold, and like how his run can stand the test of time. And for me, it's like I don't think Trick's run is even top 5, but I think that's what he's trying to claim, that he's one of the greatest NXT superstars, champions of all time.
My thing is oh, excuse me, I'm sorry.
Oof. Gather yourself, councilman. You're good.
Back to the sick ass councilman. My problem with that is though, you're trying to have the greatest NXT champion, and again, you never were. None of us said that. None of us are ever going to say that. There's no way you're better than Finn Balor. There's no way you've been better than Oprah. There's no way you've been better than Adam Cole. These are pillars in that. And I'm not saying it's because of him, but I'm saying because of the era that you're in. That's a very hard thing to top. Like we've talked about, like my client Roxanne Perez is one of the greatest NXT women's champions. She is one of the greatest rookies,
hands down,
in WWE history. And we ain't got to debate it because that's just facts. But if you would have asked me, is she the greatest NXT champion of all time? No, Asuka is. Asuka handed over the belt and left. You don't beat that. But now Trick Williams is worried about his legacy as to, okay, when we talk about runs,
then you should have had that belt a lot longer than you did.
But Trick has had a tremendous run because even look at who came out now. Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is Mr. NXT.
Yes, he is.
You could not tell me, though, which one of his NXT championship runs was legendary. He had legendary tag team matches. He's held every belt. But when you go highlight reel outside of tag team matches, that highlight reel of people with moments, you're not finna fill all of that up as a single star.
Well, his North American title run was pretty okay.
It was,
yeah. I wouldn't say it was more so the run for Johnny, more so just the staying power. Like his actual matches were always great storytelling, very great feuds, rivalries, and he was just always there. Yeah, you're right about the title runs. Like I can't think of like when you think about the spectacle that NXT is and how they do the production. Like I can't think of many times where it was like, okay, Johnny entered as champion and like did something, I guess, unforgettable as the champion in a match. Yeah. It's like probably just a great match.
That was it. But again, still, you've left a mark at NXT. Is it the Undisputed Era where we called it a whole era as to how dope they were? No. But are you going to be remembered in NXT history? Absolutely. And the same thing can be said for Trick Williams now. No one has done what you've done. You held the NXT, the North American title, and the TNA title in a time where we thought this would never happen.
At the same time.
Yeah, you have. If you haven't heard it and you need to hear it, I'll say it to it loud and proud. you have outdid Carmelo Hayes. You are no longer in the shadow of Carmelo Hayes. You are Trick Williams. You stand 10 toes down as we know who the whoop that Trick era is. You are no longer Carmelo's sidekick, or do we think Carmelo is better than you? Right. If these two went to if he went to SmackDown and they had this rivalry, this is now y'all are right here.
Yep.
This is head to head. But it needs to be like you cannot just feed him everything.
I like it. Great point made, Councilman. I dig that. Any other thoughts in regards to what Councilman just said in regards to Trick Williams, or what do you think his message meant before leaving NXT tonight, Courtney?
I think because I'm trying to think if he's on TNA, I don't even know what's going on with him in First Class, because weren't they doing something on TNA? And it's like, where are we going with this?
Good point.
What are we doing with this? That's the thing that I'm looking at, because it's like, okay, you and First Class having this alliance together, but it's like, come on, what are we doing?
Said, any thoughts in regards to Trick's statement and what it could possibly mean?
I don't know. I mean, I think it means he'll get some type of help. I can't think of who it can be, though. There's like so many layers with the Trick Williams character that I don't think they've fully uncovered yet. But it's also like, I don't know. It's like I don't get what the next move is. I don't know who the heir apparent is to take the TNA title from him. I don't know why he's still here in NXT. Like, remember with we're about almost a year into this CW partnership, and Trick was absolutely supposed to be the face of it. But midway through, we move him to TNA, but he's still treading water here. It just seems like they kind of have to do something with the character. I always say he doesn't really need to be the belt to be the brand, but it almost feels like the brand don't need him. That they have to like go somewhere else and kind of force the rest of the men's division to kind of step up. Think about who's still in the men's division. I'm not just talking about like people like Oba and Ricky, but we got Wesley just over here with this meaningless trio. Like, when does his character arc get back on track? Because he's been in NXT probably longer than anybody else.
Yeah. I would have thought that Wesley would have at least had the championship by now, or in a rivalry with Chick for the NXT championship, or Oba Femi, excuse me, in that mix at that time. Like, you know what I mean? But it's just they never rode that wave anymore. Like, Wesley just kind of got lost in the sauce. But we will see going forward with NXT what direction they're trying to go in. I don't call you what the mayor calls you, but Sean, get it together just a little bit for me.
Hey, man. Let Lola win and no mercy. Stop playing.
But
that with her at AAA, that makes sense.
Yeah, it was perfect. That the writing was on the wall for that, and it couldn't have been done any better.
WWT's not ready for the slurs that I will call Hickenbottom if Lola loses.
I'll tell you, if now is the perfect time. It don't hurt JC to lose that. You can implode Fatal Influence, and you can usher in a new one.
Very, very true. Before we get into this last topic, I do want to remind everybody what I mentioned earlier about checking out the Women's Wrestling Archive. Help us preserve women's wrestling, the history of it, the legacies of the trailblazers, and all those who paved the way for women's wrestling from then till now, till forever. Please enjoy this quick commercial and quick break, and we'll be right back.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches January 1st, 2026, and it's gonna pave the way for all women's wrestling.
Because if we don't document it, a man might say he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate $1, $5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Yes, you heard it here. Womenswrestlingarchive.com. Make sure you send donations so that way we can keep women's wrestling alive and well and preserve it for the better and the future of this industry and community. Any donation is welcome. Donate whenever you can. Womenswrestlingarchive.com. All right. Final topic, which I would say has pretty much been like the hot topic of the last couple of days, or well, today, I would say, is this. A gentleman by the name of Wrestling Days from the UK, who I actually happen to watch. He actually has some really great content and reactions on YouTube as well. He had tweeted out to WWE Shop and asked about the AJ Lee merch. He goes on to question and say, what am I meant to wear on Friday when I watch SmackDown? Normal clothes? And there was a response from WWEshop.com, apparently, that has come out and spoiled apparently a potential return of AJ Lee. It says, hey there, of course we wouldn't expect that. With AJ Lee's return to the ring, we are looking to have some fire gear, hopefully in time for WrestlePalooza. Be sure you're signed up for emails and get the latest updates on new live inventory. Happy shopping. So what do you guys think of this? Is this somebody's getting fired, or is this ChatGPT said, I'll start with you?
I hate this. I hate that we're in the era where everything gets leaked and there's no surprises. I mean, it's bad enough that all the wrestling media sites, all the major ones, went out and confirmed, like, oh yeah, like it looks like she's making a return to the ring. Like, we can't just get a surprise. So I mean, the one thing I'll say is WWE is good at the pump fake. So if they're in Chicago on Friday, I fully expect something along the lines of like Becky Lynch coming out to AJ Lee's music or something like that. Something silly just to throw off the trail a little bit. But stuff like this shouldn't happen, man. Like, if anything, the company should go in right away and kind of like have some erasure there, or have a PR person come in and deny the claims, like a large message from the large WWE account. And they should also deny that the media has any intel on AJ Lee's return. Got to keep things a surprise, otherwise it never hits the same.
Very true. Councilman, your thoughts on this response from WWEshop.com?
See, this is a problem with you punk ass kids who don't like surprises, need to know everything before it happens, so you're not surprised. If you 34 and up, this don't concern you. 34 and down, fall down a flight of stairs, because y'all always want to mess something up because you just gotta know. And if Courtney, if you're lower than 34, they don't include you. I don't want you to ever fall down those steps.
I was gonna say at least have them step on a Lego.
I like this exclusive. No, fall down the steps and land on Legos. Because this is where social media messes this stuff up all the time, of where y'all just have to know so you can report it, so you can get likes. And then the crappy part about it is WWE Shop really didn't do nothing wrong, because we've seen things like this with movies. Like prime example I'll give you is Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four came out this year in July. Like a month prior, majority of companies have to get ready for all of their products to come out. So like toys, everything, like they have to kind of get those in advance to get stuff set up to start being able to sell, and so on and so forth. And so one of those things are toys. And like one of the toys was like Galactus. Now, again, we hadn't seen what Galactus fully looked like. But of course, they get the toys before anything comes out. So now they'll know exactly what he looks like. And everybody just had to snap a picture, put it on here to go, hey, we the first ones to see it. This is what Galactus looked like. And it's like, yo, so y'all just gonna ruin it for everybody that want to see it and be surprised when you get there. So now, just because y'all did that, I hope they bring out Rhea Ripley to help CM Punk. Just because y'all asses did this. Right. I hope Rhea Ripley music hit, and I hope all of y'all have a blood vessel pop in your forehead. Not fatal, but enough to where you feel bad. Because this your fault. I always want to know something. I hope they give Rhea Ripley, that's the WrestlePalooza thing. And then when y'all upset, we so sick of this. Rhea can't compete, and that's when AJ come out.
Well, hey, you heard it from Councilman. I think that would be a really cool turnout for that situation. I this is why I'm not a fan of spoilers. This is why when I say I don't like spoilers, I would like people to respect that boundary. You know, there's some people that don't have to have everything all at once. They want to be pleasantly and genuinely surprised. But Courtney, your thoughts on this response?
From a PR perspective, because I actually am going to share this on WWT After Dark because of my own experience from Ring of Honor's media scrum last week. I just take things with a grain of salt because what is the point of you? And this is one of the lessons I had to learn when I started my first PR job is making sure you fact check everything and don't post it. Like, I don't understand. And even with the fact too, where people just don't even care about the facts and the stats and everything. They just want to get it for clicks. And that's kind of the sucky part about professional wrestling a bit. It's like, there's no proper wrestling media etiquette 101. And that kind of really grits my teeth a bit because I understand with AJ, I'm just taking things with a grain of salt. And I know you said Rhea Ripley. I even wouldn't mind having Bailey come out, honestly, since she hasn't been around for a while, just to piss off some of the fans who have nothing better to do with themselves and just want to jerk off to everything on the dirt sheets and the media has to say. So I would be okay with that. So yeah, that's just something because I'm not going to blame Shop on this one, but it has been buzzing the last couple of days, and I'm just taking everything with a grain of salt because sometimes you just can't trust some people in media.
Jerking off is something I was not planning on hearing today.
I was not expecting that to come out of her mouth, but I'm here for it. Your thoughts on this situation?
Didn't you ask
WWE Shop? Or did Sego go?
I went first.
I'm sorry, Councilman. I apologize, Councilman.
You asked me already.
I did. Oh,
it's your turn.
I'm
what
tired.
Do you think?
It's late, y'all. I'm tired.
What do you think about this?
I do think this is quite funny. No, I will say this is funny. AJ Lee. I mean, obviously, it was the obvious choice for it to be, especially with the way they hyped it up from Raw. I just don't know what to expect now because I feel like with the fans already pushing it so hard on social media, they've kind of ruined the element of surprise. And that's unfortunately, one of the downfalls of social media in this case. Whatever happens. I'm learning every day with wrestling to just enjoy the show. And just pretty much just take it for what it is. Because either way, I'm here to watch it. I'm a fan, and it's the reason why I do exactly what I'm doing right now. So whatever they decide to do, I'll be fine with it as long as it makes sense. But that would be pretty funny, and I would have to agree with Councilman. Just bring out Rhea Ripley just to piss everybody off, because y'all hyped it up and y'all ruined it. This is why we can't have anything. This is why we can't
go a step further and give CM Punk and Rhea their own T-shirt.
Yep.
And this is why we can't have nice things. But what else would you expect? But I would say that's pretty much all we would have for today for this edition of WWT Live. Does anybody have any final thoughts in regards to any other topics or anything we haven't discussed?
I don't know if y'all read the banner, but CEO Wednesdays has become pending.
Oh my God.
We have deliberation coming up. We will be setting a court date for this to happen. I hope y'all find y'all legal counsels that y'all will be needing because this CEO Wednesdays might become a real thing.
There was a lot of time and money that went into the artwork and all the different graphics that we have. We put together a really nice show for you guys the one Wednesday, and the demand was just insane afterwards.
Dylan is not cheap. And Dylan costs a lot to make these graphics. So, I don't know if it's going to be, he does.
It's an inside job, Courtney.
It's not an inside job. It is just a Courtney. Courtney has more than the facts that she needs to be able to say, hey, there's a reason why it is Timeless Elite Wednesdays.
I sense tampering. I don't know. But I do.
I am a fair judge, ma'am.
I'm just saying. These things seem a little sketchy. I just never, I've never known y'all to move like that.
You claiming my courtroom to be sketchy? Wow.
I'm just not your courtroom to be sketchy. Just this whole situation of a CEO Wednesday that hadn't been approved. I'm not sure where to go.
It has not been approved yet. All we are saying is we listen to the people at WWT, and WWT has been demanding a CEO Wednesday. Now, what comes out of this? None of us know. None of us
don't know.
But for us to not address it, to not address what the people are asking for, that has never been the WWT way. Okay? So again, deliberations will be made, a court date will be set, and we shall see how things proceed from there. Will it be Timeless Elite Wednesdays or CEO Wednesdays? Will they be interchangeable? We're going to find out. But it's to give the people what they asked for.
Well, Sindel, maybe you didn't know this. I know you haven't been here in 63 days, but it has been something that has been talked about in the chats. They were like, Mayor, you should pull up on Wednesday and do the AEW show. I did a couple of times, and then Courtney took a break. CEO Wednesdays were birthed.
Oh, my God.
You guys don't get watch-alongs on Raw anymore. But you guys do get a post-show
now.
I love how you say Courtney took a break when she went to go do work. That's shit that just makes it so
took
funny.
A break to
she went to go cover shows for a week straight. She was like, I wasn't on a fucking break. I was working.
Yeah,
I was working.
And you know what? And speaking of going on break and needing that energy for the long week that Courtney had, I'm sure she was definitely racked up on that Savorista. Because if you need a coffee that won't power bomb your sleep schedule, Savorista's got you. It's premium craft decaf and half calf coffee, bold flavor, no jitters, made from high altitude Arabica beans, naturally decaffeinated with no harsh chemicals. Bourbon pecan decaf, minted mocha. Yeah, they're that good. So use our exclusive code that you see on the bottom for 25% off at savorista.com. Use 691793. That's savorista.com, because cutting caffeine should not mean cutting flavor. Again, the code is right below at the ticker there, 691793, savorista.com. And now it's time to say goodnight, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for this Wednesday edition of WWT Live. This is pretty much the part where we tell you really quickly where you guys can find us. We'll start with Courtney.
The people can find me. I did not realize I was replaced, but the people can find me courtesy of Max Caster.
Now I'm on air, bitch. Blonde hair, bitch. Beat you so bad. Get a massage chair, bitch. Ugly ass bitch. You look like a bitch. Shout to the crew. Leave them shook like a bitch.
Only because I had to play. I don't care. I don't
Many
care.
curse words, and that is hearsay. No one said you were replaced. We will not have that slander and those perceptions being given out. No one has been replaced. Okay, we will not allow that here in the WWT courtroom or the universe. No one has said that.
Well, you know what? The people can find me chirping sporadically on WWT. And you know what? It is Timeless Elite Wednesday, because who is the queen of AEW? Me. So nobody, and I mean nobody, is taking away my spot, especially with the fact that I had to be on site in Philly for 3 straight nights. And also with the fact too, so by the way, which client actually posted on WWT, by the way? Who? Tony Storm.
Who? Oh my Lord. Okay. Well, you heard it. You heard it from the Timeless Elite one. Timeless Elite Wednesdays is still in full effect as far as we know. Not sure really what's going on here, but Ced, where can we find you?
See, that's the difference here. The mayor doesn't want to be found. The mayor just shows up when you request him. Monday nights, Wednesday nights, Friday nights. Say his name and he appears. Just because
I got a lot left in the tank.
the mayor has a lot to offer.
We all know you never touch Fridays. So
WWT. I was there last Friday.
No, you were not.
I was there. I just do what the people want. You know, This isn't about stepping on toes. This is about supply and demand. So whether it's Monday Night Mayor, CEO Wednesdays, or Set Down Fridays, damn it, the mayor will be here. That's where you can find him.
Set Down Fridays.
Councilman, where can people find you, Councilman? Before I blow a fuse.
It's the mayor invasion right now.
Nobody asked for this.
The mayor got bills to pay.
It's like Goldberg. Nobody asked for it.
He asked like so long. Taking it all.
Like you need to take.
Miss Barbados asked for this.
No, bro, you had Mondays. You had Mondays all. And where were you for months? Where's your Mondays at?
During our time in court, I will show the receipts from one TK Trinidad. I'm just doing what the people want. I'm not the bad guy.
Where can everybody find you?
Man, you can find me being a fair judge here on WWT. I am not biased. We just want to make sure the people get what they want, and we make sure that we have a unbiased deliberation of where what goes. This is a part of being in this industry, man. You know, and I'm just here to try to keep the ship stirred during court, not during the WWT live. I am not responsible for any of that. But where you can find me is once again at 5 letters, 1 word. You can fill in the rest because this is a family show on all social medias, including YouTube and Twitch. Join myself, Honey, and Dion, aka Mr. All-Star Fandom, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Kayfabe podcast. We might talk about some of this stuff, but you know we're getting back to our segments, and we are going to be in the writer's room. And we will be talking about, since everybody knows she's coming back, how are we going to set up AJ Lee and also getting ready for WrestlePalooza. So you don't want to miss us being in the writer's room. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was like, do y'all have the standard in y'all?
Yes, we do. Eastern Time. But yeah.
Yes.
And you guys could find me on All Things Wrestling with Honey on all the socials. As Councilman just previously said, you can find me at the Kayfabe podcast with him and Dion tomorrow night. We did just drop a brand new interview today with a very, very special guest from last week, Patrick Clark Jr., the Velveteen Dream, formerly known as the Velveteen Dream. So make sure you guys check that out as well. WrestlingWithHoney.com and Wrestling with Honey podcast launch in 2026. So please make sure you go to the pages and like and subscribe. Lots of stuff in the works. Can't wait pretty much for the new year to start so I can show you guys. I'm pretty much chomping at the bit. But that's pretty much it for our Wednesday night edition of WWT Live. Don't forget about www.talkpod.com and also women's wrestlingarchive.com as well, and savorista.com, and get your 25% off that coffee in the future. But we will see you guys pretty much on Friday for the Honey Night SmackDown watch along and WWT Live then. And this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Ciao.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.